For years, Musk has been talking about colonizing Mars. Musk's big plans to shuttle the first long-term residents of Mars to their new basalt composite-covered home. But in the meantime, Musk is running multiple companies and keeps expanding by the minute. And have you ever thought that Elon Musk may be developing his projects for colonizing Mars? In this video, we take a close look at Elon Musk Companies, which will play a key role in building infrastructure and cities on the red planet. Looking at each company's role in the future of Mars, what kind of technologies each can give. But more importantly, we will look at how Elon Musk multiple companies can share resources for his audacious goal of colonizing Mars and make humanity an interplanetary species. So let's start with the most obvious. SpaceX is one of the most famous modern manufacturers and operators of space transportation systems, which is Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets makes a lot of noise in the industry. The connection of this company with Mars in general is openly declared. The red planet is represented as the main long-term mission, and while the currently existing rockets are not very suitable for large-scale flight programs, now developing giant Starship is capable of sending huge Starship spacecraft into the deep space with astronauts, colonists, equipment, and other cargo. In our video about sending the first humans to Mars, we talked about building and developing these rockets is anything but not cheap. Not even for Musk with his deep billionaire pockets, which takes us nicely onto our next company, Starlink. He started Starlink under SpaceX to generate additional income to fund his ambitious space exploration goals. For those of you who don't know Starlink, it is a satellite internet constellation being constructed by SpaceX to provide high-quality and affordable internet to essentially the entire planet. Seeing as SpaceX was already in the business of sending stuff to space, capturing a significant portion of the estimated $1 trillion worldwide internet connectivity market seemed like a pretty good business move. There are currently more than 700 Starlink orbiting around Earth. SpaceX said they would like to send up around 1,200 Starlink satellites to complete their constellation. However, this number might climb to as high as 30,000. What Musk Starlink satellites will offer us in the future is fast, reliable, and cheap internet that benefits from very low latency. And what his satellites will do for him is generate around $30 billion a year in revenue, which is a boatload of cash that he can put towards the development of his rocket technology. Now let's look at this project role for Mars colonization, and here the picture becomes a lot more clear. If on Earth Starlink is just a useful service for a mass user, on Mars it is a critical element of the communication infrastructure. On our planet, television, internet, mobile communications, and everything else is provided mainly by the countless cable networks with towers, antennas, and so on are scattered everywhere. And on Mars, this process and installation of this system will be very difficult, expensive, and dangerous. So putting the Starlink constellation in Mars orbit will be a very good idea, considering that Mars is much smaller than Earth. A lot fewer satellites will be needed. Now let's go on the next companies. SolarCity and Tesla. The main feature of both projects can be considered their electric core. The first generates electricity, the second uses it. Here on Earth, solar energy is developing very rapidly, becoming more efficient and gaining popularity. On Mars, these technologies have almost no alternatives. Vehicles on internal combustion engines will be practically useless because there is no gasoline to fuel them. Unless, of course, we find oil on Mars. If we do, it will be a truly epic discovery. If ever we found it on Mars, biofuels are too difficult to make. It is also very difficult to make burning gas. So only the electric power plant remains. CEO Elon Musk has once again hinted that his company might once again team up to send the latest Cybertruck into space and could be headed to the red planet. By the time of colonization, Tesla will already have a huge amount of technology to create an efficient electric transport for the conditions of the red planet. How about the construction of a nuclear power plant? Well, this is a good long-term energy source for a colony on Mars, but this is a prospect for a more distant future. and another idea of building wind power plants. But again, the pressure of the Martian atmosphere is so low. The propellers will not get enough pressure and will be barely moving most of the time. So the most effective is solar energy. And here we have a complete set: SolarCity, Tesla Power Pack, and other solutions that already exist and are working. For some experts, solar panels would be great for colonies because they can be maintained, wiped down, repaired easily. So really it comes down to what is easier to get there and safest to have around for the amount of energy produced by each. Now let's take a closer look at transportation on Mars. The first obvious answer has already been given: make them some Tesla SUV or Cybertruck version for Mars, and let them ride. Unfortunately, not everything is so simple, but the solutions are already in place, and Musk has already proposed them. But some experts suggest that living above ground can be dangerous on Mars because of too weak magnetic field, deadly solar and cosmic radiations bombarding the surfaces. An astronaut on a mission to Mars could receive radiation doses up to 700 times higher than on our planet. So surface colonies will be too risky. The residential section should be underground, and Tesla Mars vehicles needs protection from radiation if it needs to travel on the surface. But Elon Musk is prepared, and let's take a closer look at his next company, Boring Company. To avoid exposure to lethal amounts of radiation, colonists would need to be shielded behind a protective layer. And several feet of Martian rock might be able to do the job, especially if the Boring Company can make it easier to dig out a protected living space instead. Musk said that you could build an entire city on Mars underground if you wanted to. It would be a different optimization for a Mars boring machine versus an Earth boring machine. For sure there's going to be a lot of icing mining on Mars, and mining in general, to get raw materials for building structures. The first colonies, or at least most of them, will be built under the surface that will protect them from radiation. The same problem is with transport. If you just decide to drive a car across Mars, even without considering the ecology, you have a real chance to catch a fair amount of radiation, especially during solar storms. And the solution is underground tunnels. Underground tunnels between objects in the colony will give easy access, radiation protection, and even fewer risks than here, because of little or no seismic activity on Mars. But if many Martian towns can be located at long distances, of course, you can drive a car through a tunnel for 500 miles. But what if you want a faster option? Well, Elon Musk has preferably something faster to offer too. Let's look at this next company. The Hyperloop concept is to create a railway line in which high-speed vacuum trains or capsules will move through the tube. Meanwhile, inside the tube, a minimum pressure close to the vacuum will be maintained, so the capsules can reach speeds of more than 760 miles per hour or 1,200 kilometers per hour. Here on Earth, Hyperloop has a problem in its development. Is the task of ensuring a constant vacuum inside the tube, and a solid shell system of the atmospheric control, and low pressure maintenance, and it is difficult to do. On Mars, the work is already half done. The atmospheric pressure is so low. This is because the air density isn't as high on Mars as it is on Earth. As Musk explained, the density of Mars' atmosphere is only 1% of Earth. That roughly translates to there being less air resistance to slow down a moving object. So maintaining low pressure will take much less effort. The atmosphere also gives another advantage to this technology. And with such low density of air, flying on a mode of classic air transport is almost impossible. And if building a Hyperloop system is impossible for some places on Mars because of mountains and bottomless canyons and needed to transport goods in places across the planet, SpaceX Starship is the solution. The planet is smaller than Earth. The gravity is weaker, less fuel is needed, and it will be possible to transport more cargo. Because of low atmosphere density, it will be easier to fly through it with a rocket. The Starships are initially made for work on Mars, which is why their Raptor engine burns methane, not kerosene. In such conditions, the idea that seems to be other nonsense on Earth, on Mars turns out very useful. We don't forget also that Elon Musk's brother Kimball Musk is a board member of SpaceX and Tesla, and is also a co-founder of Square Roots, a company that is building shipping container vertical farms in cities. It has space of the farm built inside a 320 square foot shipping container. Compare it to an annual yield basis. you are able to get as much food as you would do from a 1 or 2 acre outdoor farm. It's kind of crazy how much you can grow in a very tiny footprint. Kimball says that the tech being used today to farm food in climate-controlled city spaces will also be used on Mars. Elon Musk is changing the world faster towards the better future for everyone through his companies. He managed to do so much it would be enough for several lifetimes. So as Elon Musk pushes for faster progress, with his eye on building a city of the future on Mars, and continues to giving us glimpses into our future, we could see the first structures on Mars as soon as 2024.